guys, it's Kevin again, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing to Pretty Little Liars, Season 4, Episode 16, Close Encounters. This episode was good, but I felt parts of it were kind of boring for me. It wasn't the most interesting episode. There was some stuff I really did like about it. I really liked the stuff that happened at the end, but some of this episode was just kind of boring for me, and Pretty Little Liars for me, it's really good, like episodes like last week where it was really intense. I know we can have an intense episode every single week, but they made this episode out to be like a really epic episode, and it really was not that at all. And there's one complaint I am having over this season. The big complaint is we are not really seeing a lot of Allison. We're seeing her in very limited scenes. They only give her like one scene an episode, and she's essentially the main focus of the show. The whole focus of the show is, you know, the first few seasons was who murdered Allie, and now she's alive. We really should be seeing more of this. And we're not. We're seeing more of, you know, A and everything, which I know is, you know, also the main part of the show. But when you have a character who you think has been dead for years come back, you need to show more of them, because I really would like to see more of her, and, you know, what her motive is, why she's back, but I'm guessing it's more of a mystery thing. But in my opinion, I would like to see more of her on the show, because I think that, one, she's a really good actress. I think the actress that plays her is very good, and I like the actress. Two, she's a very important character, so I don't understand why they just can't give her any other, you know, scenes to actually show her in. But let's just get to the episode. So we're going to go by each liar, basically. We're going to start off with Emily, because Emily had the most stuff out of everyone in this episode. So apparently Emily, as we found out, was actually Allie's favorite. Not because Emily is a great girl, because Emily loved all the most. Basically, that explanation alone should be reason enough to stop looking for the girl. Emily's run-in with Shana reveals a few things. Allison supposedly asked Shana to come to Rosewood and try to figure out who is after her, and Jenna's on the list of suspects. Now, I was very surprised that Shana was alive, because I thought Shana died in the finale. Didn't they kill Shana in the finale? I guess not. I guess Shana actually lived. The other thing that she says is that Shana knows Allie because she grew up next to Allie's grandparents. And 3, Shana insists she's not really friends with Jenna. Keep her friends close and your enemies closer, Shana reveals. So Emily wants Shana to prove herself, so she asks Shana what Allie told her outside the barn when the liars were looking for Dr. Sullivan. And oddly, Emily won't even tell her best friends that Allie gave her a choice to stay or go. Then they then shared a kiss. The liars think Shana is lying about Allie. They believe Shana is one of A's minions who is trying to get the foursome to stop looking for Allie so A can find her. But when Shana comes through with what was said outside the barn, Emily decides to meet Allie on her own. She makes the mistake of telling Spencer beforehand. When Emily finally comes face to face with a teary-eyed Allie, her old friend reveals that she can trust the other liars. Help me find A so I can come home, Allie says. And I really enjoyed this scene when we actually got to see Allie and everything. I really enjoyed that. Then Spencer, followed Emily, interrupts the conversation. Allie makes a run for it. Emily is livid with Spencer, but Spencer is convinced that Allie's up to no good and wants to divide the liars. One more reason to stop wasting time trying to find Allie. She sure doesn't seem like a very good friend. This I really like. I like how they're thinking that she's trying to actually divide them. Spencer says she's up to no good. But what I don't really like is that they're not really focusing on this very much. You know, it's kind of, they're trying to, you know, they're wasting time. You know, they're stopping wasting time trying to find her. I'd actually like to spend time on this, on finding her and everything, and it's fine, but I wish they would spend more time on this. I really do. It's not a huge complaint, it's just I wish they would spend some more time on this. Now let's go to Aria, because Aria is the whole Ezra thing, so I really want to talk about Aria. Aria is getting caught in a huge lie with Ezra. She makes up for it by promising to break things off with Jake, and she does break off things with Jake. Unfortunately for Jake, he spots Ezra, who is supposed to be in Philadelphia in a parking lot. From afar, Jake witnesses Ezra go ballistic on some blonde in a car. And in this episode, I'm pretty much convinced that Aria is no longer working with Ezra. Because there's something that Jake actually says to her. You know, there's something that she says to her. Not Jake, somebody, I can't remember who said it to her, but basically Jake tells Aria she believes him enough to ask Ezra about it, and Jake was talking to Aria and telling her how, maybe Ezra's not the guy you think he is, and this really made me think, wait a minute, Aria's not working with Ezra. There's no way she could be working with Ezra, because she would definitely know about this. If she was working with Ezra, she would know about this, and it would, she would. And it really made me start to think about things and think, I have been saying completely the wrong things. I have been thinking everything wrong. I still think Ezra's A. However, I think there's more to this now. What I'm thinking is that there's more to is that actually A is like this group, basically. It seems like A is multiple people, and maybe A is actually becoming like a cult group or something. Not really a cult group, but just like a very bad group of some sort. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it ends up being, because it seems like there are a whole bunch of people who could be A right now. So Ezra gives a really good excuse to her when she asks Ezra about it. Supposedly the blonde was actually Maggie's lawyer. Maggie's preventing him from seeing Malcolm, and Aria buys his shady story and tells him that she chose him. And this was a really bad idea, because then we get to the biggest thing with Aria's storyline. As soon as she kisses Ezra, we go right to Jake. He's like boxing or something. I think he's just trying to get his aggression out. He was really upset about Ezra. He really was upset that Aria chose Ezra over, him. So I think he was just trying to channel his energy. You see him hitting this bag and everything. But while this is happening, he gets stabbed in the foot. And I was like, what? Why'd you just stab him in the foot? I thought that was amazing, in my opinion. I thought that was a really great scene. And I really did love that, because it really is interesting, because now Jake's in danger. Jake is in danger now. Jake really did not really know a lot about this. Jake was really just someone Aria was with. He really was not involved with the whole Allie thing and the A thing. But now he really is involved, and I really do like this about this episode. Even though, as I said, there were some parts of this episode that were boring, I thought this part was really strong, and I really do love this. I think this is fantastic, in my opinion, and I really do love it. And by the way, when I said the episode was boring, it's boring because it's not as exciting as last week's. Last week's is a lot more exciting than this one. However, this one was still really, really good. And so Aria's storyline, I really enjoyed her storyline this episode. I thought it was really strong, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Now let's get to Hanna. Hannah's storyline is honestly, it's very heartbreaking in my opinion. Hannah's getting, Ashley Benson, they're giving her a lot of really great stuff in this half of the season. She's really giving a lot of great performances, and I think pretty much Ashley Benson is actually the strongest of these actresses. She can really pull off a great scene, and I really think she is fantastic on this show. Hannah's still heartbroken over Caleb. First, she tries to get rid of any clothing that reminds her of her ex. She aggressively and awkwardly makes a move on Travis. And, this was just me this is I thought I knew that she really did not really have feelings for Travis. I just had this feeling she said, she kept saying, I'm over Caleb, I'm over Caleb, I'm over Caleb. And I knew she was not over him. Because Ashley walks in on Hannah making out with Caleb, and she warns her not to move on so fast. Throwing yourself at a new guy is not the way to get over the old one. And, even with girls, this is true. Guys will do the same thing over girls, because personally, I haven't had an actual girlfriend, but I've had people that I like, and, there was this one girl who I just liked, and it didn't really end up going well, so, that whole thing happened. There was this one girl that I liked, and it didn't end up going well with that. So, and really, I'm not trying to find anybody else, because it's true. You don't just want to throw yourself at someone just for the hell of it. You actually want to get to know somebody first. And Ashley tells Hannah, apparently throwing dishes at a wall is, she's throwing dishes at a wall. Interestingly, in Rosewood, there are dish-throwing venues. And it is Rosewood, after all. The town's population doesn't exactly seem like the type of people who enjoy ordinary modes of entertainment like movies, shopping, or even bowling. That's what it says here. I don't know if that's true. But what's definitely interesting about this is just I really enjoy her storyline a lot, because, it's definitely very relatable. When you break up with someone, you immediately go to somebody else and you want to try to date somebody, but Hanna clearly is not ready to date anybody else. You can clearly see that about her. She's not ready for it. She does not want to. Even though she wanted to try to with Travis, obviously it's not going to work for her in the long run just because she's not over Caleb, so it's not going to work for her. So yeah, I really enjoyed her storyline a lot too. I thought her storyline was very interesting, and I really enjoyed hers as well, and I really love this stuff they're giving Hanna recently. It's really been great. Spencer in this episode. Spencer, honestly, at this point, she's driving me a little nuts. She really is, especially towards the end of this episode. I enjoyed the whole thing with her storyline, but she's starting to drive me a little nuts. Basically, Peter reveals the real reason why he's talking to Mrs. De Laurentiis, Spencer's father. And I forgot to say at the end of the last episode, and I kind of missed this, was that he told her at the end of the last episode that you live under my house, you live under my rules, you do what I say. And she said, fine, I'm not going to live with you anymore. So she actually lives with Toby now. And, he caught Spencer sleeping in Toby's apartment, and so he revealed the reason why he's talking to Mrs. De Laurentiis to her. And it turns out that their son Jason fell off the wagon and got arrested, and he's keeping it from his wife because if he never mentions Jason or Jessica's name again, it would be too soon for your mother. Understandably, but is Peter telling the truth? That's the big thing. She really does not know if he's telling the truth. She doesn't even know if she can trust him right now. So Spencer's dad is at Toby's to let him know that there isn't enough evidence to close down Radley. He gives Toby a settlement to sign, and basically the settlement is not going to bring your mother back or change the past, Peter tells Toby, but it can help your future. And Spencer urges Toby to make sure he has all the facts before he signs the agreement. She then goes off to try to find those facts. While riffling through her dad's briefcase, she discovers that Mrs. De Laurentiis is on Radley's board of trustees, but it's too late. Toby signed the agreement because he's ready to move on. And I really think that Spencer's plot is really interesting because of the whole Jason thing. She's really not sure if Jason actually went to rehab. We really didn't get the answer to that, but I did enjoy this episode. It just was not as exciting as last week's. It really was a great episode, though. A lot of stuff I'm interested in. I mean, some of the big questions I have are, is Aria, does Aria believe Jake? Does Aria believe Jake right now? Does she, truly trust Jake? Also, who is terrorizing Jake? I think it could, the only possible option is Ezra, but why would Ezra just start randomly taunting Jake? I don't really understand that. I don't really understand why he would just randomly taunt him. Hanna is completely over Caleb. Do you think Hanna's completely over Caleb? I still don't think she's completely over Caleb. But do you think her and Travis have a future? I think Travis will eventually be, and him and Hanna will eventually get together, but it's not, not right now, I don't think. And also, is Jason actually in rehab? We'll have to see. Also, Emily, do you think Allie actually wants to divide the liars? Do you think Spencer is right with that? That was the only thing I didn't like, was Spencer kind of going a little batshit crazy in that one scene with Emily. That was the only thing I thought was a little nuts. I'm like, what are you doing? Can we trust Shana? That's the other thing. Can we trust Shana? I don't know if we can. It looks like next week Maya is, not Maya, Mona is, Maya died. Maya died a while ago, sorry. Mona is back. I always get the two of them confused for some reason. Mona is back, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see if Mona actually, if they can fully trust Mona. They're not sure if they can, and it looks like she's going to get involved with Ezra, so that should be interesting. But that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, let me know what you guys thought of this episode, and my overall thoughts on this episode. A really strong episode from this show. It just was not as intense as last week's. I really did enjoy this one. But this one was more of a character episode. And sometimes those character episodes are good. Some parts of this episode were a little slow. It was not a perfect episode. For example, like parts of the Spencer storyline where they were a little slow. There were parts in the Emily storyline that were a little slow. But overall, I did enjoy this episode. I thought it was a good episode overall. That's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.